KSAT12. The news at noon starts right now.
A rooftop display that caught the eye of a crowd downtown and police. It caused such a commotion, police had to shut down a major road.
That forced drivers to find another way around during the morning commute. It happened in the 100 block of East Travis, where a man was spotted on the rooftop of the Milam building, appearing to have no clothes on. Police say calls began coming in at around 8 this morning from people reporting the scene.
The historic building is vacant. It has no electricity, so officers had a tough time getting to the man.
Elevators are turned off, all the electricity's off, so there's no AC in there, and it's 21 flights of stairs. Well, actually more flights of stairs than that, but we had to climb all of them to get there.
But then they got the man down, and police say he'll be looked at by a doctor.
Streets were reopened after about an hour.
Another warm one out there, 89 degrees already. No rain in sight.
There's a small chance this afternoon, Ursula. A lot like the last few afternoons when we've had pop-up showers. That is going to be possible this afternoon. But again, a lot like the last few days, you're more likely to not see rain than you are to see some of the rain that we really need around San Antonio. Take a look outside right now. We've got a mix of those high-thin cirrus clouds as well as some cumulus clouds starting to develop out there. You can see those high-thin cirrus clouds giving the sky a milky hue, and those puffy cumulus clouds there off in the distance. It's 88 degrees outside. Dew points are high, near 70, so it feels pretty humid out there too. Here's a look at clouds and temperatures. It's 89 in Del Rio, 94 already in Cotulla, 91 in New Braunfels, and 88 in Hondo. As we zoom in a little bit closer, you can see that area of cirrus clouds really starting to push in across the hill country. That may actually inhibit our chances for rain this afternoon, but we'll still call it about a 20% chance for an isolated shower or storm, mainly this afternoon and in the early evening hours. Coming up in the forecast, we're going to take a check of the aquifer, and also when is our typically last 90-degree day. Hopefully something to look forward to. I'll have that forecast for you coming up in a bit. David.
Thanks, Sarah. Close to 300 workers here in Bexar County will soon be without a job. That's according to the Texas Workforce Commission. The report from TWC shows more than half of the 279 layoffs are at the food service vendor Aramark. 144 Aramark employees are being laid off at 2 Christus Health locations, largely because the contract between Christus and Aramark expired. In a statement from Christus Health, the employees will be allowed to work for their new food vendor. The contract between Christus and Aramark is set to expire on October 31st. You can read the full statement from Christus Health right now on KSAT12.
The city of San Antonio stepping up its efforts to stop illegal dumpers by clearing dump sites, but also homeless encampments. It's become a big priority for solid waste management crews. The city spends $1.6 million a year to fund an 11-member crew that is dedicated solely to clearing up dump sites like these, as well as homeless encampments. Last year, they accumulated more than 2,400 tons of trash from 9,000 cleanups. This year, the goal is 11,000 cleanups and 3,000 tons of trash. An undercover SAPD operation this summer led to the arrest of 3 people suspected of illegal dumping.
We're going to be doing a lot more of these this year, so if you're dumping, you get caught, you're going to have a bad day.
Illegal dumping could cost you a fine of a few $1,000s or even jail time. The Solid Waste Department getting an extra $530,000 this year in order to deal with this issue. You're also going to be seeing some ads that tell the community where you can drop off your bulky trash for free.
San Antonio police still working to solve 2 separate murder cases. One has gone cold for more than a year and still no arrests.
And now officers are hoping you know something that can help them find justice for these victims. We're going to start with the murder of 30-year-old Alexis Trevino earlier this month on the west side. SAPD responding to reports of a major crash at Panuco and Buena Vista Road intersection. Here's video from that scene when it happened. Officers found Trevino inside a vehicle here, shot in the head. The only evidence investigators found were bullet holes through the back window and headrest.
Another murder case. The victim also found shot in a vehicle. Police are looking for the person who killed a man on the city's west side. This is the victim, 28-year-old Juan Mendoza. He was killed in March of last year. Police say he was in the driver's seat of a vehicle stopped at a red light on South General McMullen when someone in a black Chevy Malibu pulled up to his vehicle and shot him in the head. He died the next day. Crime Stoppers is asking for any information about either case. The number to call them, 224-STOP.
Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says he believes a local Catholic priest accused of sexual assault may have more victims. He, along with the Archdiocese, calling for any other victims to please come forward. The sheriff's office accuses 42-year-old Father George Mbugua Ndugu, who is also known by the name of Father Wanjuri. They say that he allegedly sexually assaulted an elderly woman 3 times. Salazar says the woman spoke out after an employee also made a complaint to his office about this priest. BCSO says the priest most recently served at St. Rose of Lima Catholic Church on the west side.
Happening tonight, the Republican presidential candidates are hitting the debate stage again. Here's who made the cut. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, former Vice President Mike Pence, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum will all participate. Former President Donald Trump will once again not be at the debate. He previously announced he will skip the event. Instead, he's going to travel to Detroit to deliver a speech.
Meanwhile, lawmakers are already in office, inching closer to an important deadline. They still have not come up with an agreement to avoid a government shutdown. And ABC's Rachel Scott reports pressure now growing on House Speaker McCarthy after the Senate released a bipartisan spending bill.
Gridlock on Capitol Hill. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy dismissing a bipartisan deal from leaders in the Senate to avoid a government shutdown.
I think their priorities are backwards.
The Senate proposal will keep money flowing until November 17th and provide $6 billion for Ukraine. That's a red line for McCarthy.
Is it the wrong move for that deal from the Senate to include additional funding for Ukraine?
Yes. Yes, it is wrong. They're picking Ukraine over Americans.
Instead, McCarthy is moving forward with his own proposal, insisting President Biden and Democrats must crack down on the border to avoid a government shutdown. But that still doesn't appear to be enough to satisfy a handful of far-right conservatives opposed to any short-term deal.
I think it's just doing away with our duties.
It's not the way to fund government.
If Congress does not act, 4 million government workers could lose pay. Nearly half are military troops and others who work for the armed forces. Bessa Pinchani's husband works for the Air Force.
I have no idea if my husband will get a paycheck.
Also hanging in limbo, TSA workers. They won't be getting checks either. Becky Mancha works at Dallas Love Field Airport.
We make sure that the traveling public's safe to and from. Give them what they deserve, which is their money.
I asked one of those Republican holdouts what he would say to those workers.
We have to worry about all 330 million Americans, not just isolated stories and specific individuals. The bottom line is we've got to cut our spending. This is the time to do it. If we don't do it now, when are we going to do it?
The bottom line is the House and the Senate are now moving in opposite directions. Speaker McCarthy trying to ramp up the pressure on President Biden, saying it would be important to have a meeting, but President Biden has made it clear this is the responsibility of Congress, calling on Republicans to do their jobs. Rachel Scott, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
It is the new San Antonio Gunslingers with an old gunslinger twist. We'll have that for you coming up in sports.
The 10th annual Cleft Strong 5K will be happening in a couple of weekends, and you have time to register for it.
This event is a great way for us to spread awareness, but also to show our kids who are cleft affected that there are other kids out there, other people out there that are just like them.
The 5K will take place on October 8th at Eisenhower Park. If you can't make it to the park, you can also join the 5K virtually. There'll be a DJ, games, food, and a silent auction. You can sign up by heading to our website, KSAT12.
Outside with live cam, a lot of folks have decided that we're not going to have fall or winter. That way, it's a psychological thing. That way, when we actually get there, it will be that much more fun.
I like that way of thinking.
Yeah.
I like that way of thinking. Yeah, coming up, we're going to talk about when our average last 90-degree day is, typically around San Antonio. Take a look at the aquifer, though. The aquifer is down 0.2 foot over the past 24 hours. You'll remember that molds have been high in the pollen count the last few days. Well, here's some good news. They've slipped into the moderate category now. Ragweed, fall elm, and pigweed are low. All right, you've got about a minute and a half to guess when our average last 90-degree day is. I'll have that answer for you coming up.
After looking at that, Powerball might not be a bad thing. The jackpot now at an estimated $850 million after no lucky winners nabbed the grand prize during Monday night's drawing.
And your next big chance to win is tonight. The cash value for this prize is $397 million.
According to Powerball, the odds of winning the jackpot are 1 in 292.2 million.
You didn't have to add that.
But there is a chance.
Okay. I hate it when you know, the jackpot's this big, but your chance of winning, well,
you should know
wouldn't
that.
fit on the head of a pin.
Yeah, and you know what? It kind of feels like our chance of getting a cold front is pretty low, too.
And rain, too.
Exactly. But today, there's a 20% chance.
So what's your question? What's the question again?
All right.
Ready.
On average, when is our last 90-degrry day?
On average.
On average.
Last 90-degree day, September 29th.
Okay.
I'm gonna go later. I'm gonna say October 30th.
All right, so the day before Halloween. Okay, so here's the kicker, guys. We have had today will be 112 consecutive 90-degree days. The afternoon high has not dipped below 90 degrees in 112 days. Impressive. Now, on average, even compared to last year when we were pretty hot, our average last 90-degree day is the 18th of October. So Ursula was closer than you, if we're going.
Wasn't even the right month.
Yeah, I know. So about the second or third week of October, that's typically when we see our last 90-degree day, even on the hottest of years. So that is something to look forward to. Unfortunately, in the next 7 days, our high temperature is going to be above 90 degrees. Here's a look at the afternoon temperature forecast. You know, the average high this time of year is 88. Well above that by some 5 to 7 degrees over the next several days. Today's is going to be the hottest day of the next 7 days, but still, what's the difference between 95 and 96? Hey, take a look at our authority radar right now. We do have a few storms popping up north of Junction across central Texas. We're going to be watching carefully this afternoon as some of those clouds may bubble up and produce some isolated thunder showers right around the time of the evening commute. So when we look at your KSAT 12-hour forecast for the remainder of the day, we'll be looking this afternoon at a 20% chance for an isolated downpour. Highs will be near 96 degrees this afternoon. And it's going to be hot just about everywhere. 96 in Del Rio, 95 in Eagle Pass, 95 in Beeville, 95 in Gonzales, 92 in Kerrville. By the way, I did some digging in the data, and just about all of South Central Texas sees their last 90-degree day some point between the second week of October and the third week of October. So just about all of us, hopefully, will see some relief by the end of October. As we look toward the evening hours, though, if you have late night plans, we'll still be at 80 degrees by midnight. So it's going to be a warm evening and a little humid out there. Here's a look at the weather setup right now. There were some showers and storms from Eagle Pass down to Laredo earlier today. But as we take a wider view, we're about to enter into a blocking weather pattern, which prevents rain from making it to south central Texas. Got high pressure system overhead. 2 low pressure systems, one to the west and one to the east. That's where all the cooler air is. I mean, look at Seattle right now, 53 degrees. That would be wonderful. But around this ridge of high, you can see clearly that it's hot around this high pressure system. It's 92 degrees in Little Rock right now, and a heat wave expected for a good portion of the country because of that heat high. Take a look at your 7-day forecast. Again, it's going to be more of the same for us. Mornings near 70, afternoons in the low to mid 90s.
Ouch.
Ouch is right.
But we're not freaking out because it's in the 90s. We just found out we got several more weeks to go.
Yeah.
So we're good.
Still scary.
It is scary. Speaking of scary and freaking out, we're already talking about Halloween the scary season, and we're not even in October yet.
I know. Fiona is live at Market Square with the question of the day.
Yes, the spooky season is upon us, so we want to know what scares you the most. And don't say anything like taxes or something.
That's the question? Just a simple question?
Yep, what scares you the most?
Ooh.
Don't say your wife. That's also a bad answer.
I don't like snakes. I'm not really scared of them. I just don't like them.
I'm scared to death of them, and I can't walk in the countryside without thinking about what I will do when that snake appears.
High boots. Always high boots.
That's exactly right. I've got high boots.
So that's the question of the day. What scares you the most?
That's right. Scan that QR code and let us know. You may see your answer in the show.
All right, Fiona, thank you.
High school volleyball team's trying to get that playoff momentum going, and J.J. Watt will have family and friends all around him coming this Sunday in Houston. We'll tell you why coming up. High school volleyball playoff position battles, big-time matchup between two highly ranked 6A programs in the state. The 8th-ranked Harlan Hawks taking on the 21st-ranked Brennan Bears. First set, back and forth, but Harlan's Carrington Crawford is going to come up with the big shot of the night. Here it comes. Watch it. Bam! That's a kill shot. The Bears even things up, though, in the second set, thanks to a dominant performance from Gianna Brown. They take that set 28-26, but then the Hawks got control back. Sophomore J.C. Hall coming up with one of her big blocks. And then, we got this. Bam. The winner. So J.C. talked about the pressure of trying to get that last winning point.
It felt amazing, actually. I knew I wanted to kill that, and I just tried to hit it as hard as I could. It makes me feel really good and confident about our team and how we play, because I know at the end of the day, even if we don't start off as strong, we still have a chance, because I know there's girls on the court that are going to fight and give it their all.
All right, J.C. and her Hawk teammates face O'Connor Friday night. In the meantime, Brandeis Broncos and the Marshall Rams will pick that up in the second set, where Brandeis' Lola Isafe was making her presence known. Rams answered right back. There's that shot right there. Then the Rams answered right back. Otile Giuge gets a kill of her own. It was the Broncos' night, though. They ended up winning in straight sets. Here comes that kill. Bam. They ended up winning in straight sets, 3-0. The 2023 MLB regular season winding down, and with less than 1 week to go, and the American League West Division is still heated. It's between three teams, surging Rangers, Astros, and Mariners. The Rangers are in first place with 6 days remaining, but a rough night for both Texas teams last night. We checked the scoreboard for you. Rangers lost to the Angels 9-3, and the Astros lost as well to the Mariners 6-2. All right, San Antonio Gunslingers franchise is leaving the National League to become the 16th member of the Indoor Football League. For you San Antonio football team history buffs, this new era for the Gunslingers will be headed by an original member of the 1985 USFL Gunslingers, Tom Maness. He will take over as the head coach and general manager in 2024.
It's fantastic. I mean, there's some legendary coaches in this league. There's some great ownership groups. The Rackler family fits in perfect because of their first-class nature and how they do business and how they treat the community, and I'm looking forward to that all around the country.
It's going to be a great opportunity for a lot of young guys to come and play at San Antonio. It's going to be a very good team. And more importantly, it's going to be great for the people of San Antonio. This is going to be family, fun, affordable entertainment. You'll be able to bring your family, have a great time at an affordable price.
The 2024 IFL season kicks off March 16th.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
It'd be awesome to see him received the way that he deserves to be received. I know that Houston's going to do it right for him. Just looking forward for me personally, just to have all of us in one area at one time. We don't get together often much anymore because we're all so spread out. For me, it's all about remembering that there's a big game behind this, to be happy for my brother. But I don't know who he's rooting for or what he's got going on in his corner. But at the end of the day, there is a game to be played.
All right, so it's going to be a family affair Sunday. Steelers linebacker T.J. Watt, that was him right there. He's going to be in Houston when the Texans induct his brother, retired three-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, J.J. Watt. into the Ring of Honor. The ceremony is going to take place at halftime of the Houston-Pittsburgh game coming up this Sunday. So that family, like you mentioned, will be together. And JJ was one of the fan favorites of the Houston Texans for years. Great defensive player.
Yeah, very popular. Okay, at a time when people are worried about their finances and the effect of inflation on their wallets, one of the biggest retailers, Amazon, is right now accused of manipulating search results so that you pay more for products. We're going to take a look at the allegations made by 17 states and the Federal Trade Commission in the next half hour.
And some weight loss drugs are growing more popular, so now people are trying to get their hands on them any way they can. And that includes going to pharmacies online. But some of these sites might be operating illegally, while buying medications from them could be risky.